Hey guys, welcome back. Wanted to give you guys a quick little rundown about what happened on November 17th, yesterday, Monday, in Florida with the Make the Stallion and Milagro Gramz defamation lawsuit. Okay. So, for those that missed my video breakdown yesterday, just to refresh your memory, Make the Stallion filed a lawsuit in the Southern District of Florida against Milagro Grams. Milagro Cooper, a lot of us know her as Milagro Grams. She is alleging defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and she is alleging the promotion and altered depiction of a deep fake. She's also alleging cyber stalking. All right. So, one of the things we've said before, and I said it in my first video when I was really breaking down the lawsuit, is this is a lawsuit. And what is a lawsuit? A bunch of allegations that, there might have been in between discovery. You got these lawyers and people in suits reviewing all this information, but truly it's going to come down to the members of the jury. It's going to come down to the jury, right? To review the information and determine whether Milagro had any wrongdoing or did anything wrong in this situation, right? A lot of us can have different opinions, and you guys can support whoever you want to. For me, I just want the facts, and we just want the truth to prevail, whatever that may be. All right, let's get it together. So we have Megan Cuniff from Legal Affairs, who I was able to get a subscription to her vlog yesterday. I have been calling the courts about ordering these transcripts and whatnot. I did receive a message this morning, so I'm working on that. We're working on figuring out whether we can get yesterday's transcripts and figuring that out. I will let you guys know kind of where I go from here, but hopefully we'll be able to deliver this information. I know I'm not the only one that's trying to move things forward, but we're going to try to make it happen, even if we might be a day or two late, okay? All right, what happened to Tory Lanez? Even though he's not necessarily being sued, he's really kind of in the center of this situation, guys. He really is. You know why? Because of the shooting. Of course, it's centered around Tory Lanez, but I think it's important to know what happened yesterday, Monday. So Tory Lanez was held in contempt of court and fined $20,000 for being disruptive and refusing to answer questions during a deposition for Meg the Stallion's defamation lawsuit against Milagro Grams. Okay. Now, he was confrontational, apparently. He walked out of deposition. I don't know how he walks. How does a person with shackles walk out of deposition? I'm not really sure. He repeatedly declined to answer questions about his relationship with Milagro Grams. Because of this, the judge is also informing or going to inform the jury in the defamation trial about Tory Lanez's behavior. Okay. They're saying that he was disruptive, he refused. Because of that, the consequences is not only is the jury going to find out, but also that he's going to be fined 20,000. Now, here's the deal that really bothers me, man. Why is it that Tory Lanez's behavior, because of the way that he behaved, it somehow supposed to punish Milagro Grams, where we have yet to establish, and what I mean by that, the jury, not we, the jury has yet to establish whether there was a connection or working together situation between Tory and Milagro to defame and bring down Meg the Stallion. I find this to be just so weird that it's like, all right, the judge's going to tell the jury, not only are you going to fine him 20,000, but the jury in the defamation case, guys, this man was so disruptive. He didn't want to give a deposition. I don't know, guys. Like, if I am in my mind, and not saying that this is accurate, I don't know. But if in my mind, if I feel like I was wrongfully convicted, okay, why would I cooperate with a case that I'm not necessarily party to? I'm only mentioned it. Doesn't make sense, right? I don't know. So I might feel some type of way about the people setting me up in a way in which I got to sit there and answer a bunch of questions while you guys take this deposition, whatever it may be. So, yeah, I do personally feel like I do feel some type of way about it. And then Milagro is held somehow in her own trial responsible for the things that Tory Lanez says or does. This doesn't sound fair. She's not responsible for that grown ass man. It just isn't. But that's just my opinion, guys. Okay. So let's get into some of these updates, guys. So that was the biggest one yesterday that kind of hit and had a lot of people talking about Tory Lanez. All right, so let's go to November 17th. Okay, Megan Cuniff starts us off. Now I know some of you guys feel a way about Megan Cuniff, and honestly, that y'all are entitled to your opinion. The ladies out there giving a report. Some people have said, "Well, she's really biased." I'm gonna tell you this: we're all biased. Newsflash: all of us have a level of bias. She happens to be the reporter down there. I know that Armand, I think it's flying down there or is already. I know Armand made it today, the 18th, for the trial, and he plans to report on this, which I think is great because it's going to give more perspective. Some of us are trying to get the transcripts. So that'll give you more perspective. So you guys will have a lot more eyes where everybody's doing something a little bit different to bring a lot more awareness to this situation. So whether you like Megan Cuniff or not, the googly eye lady, I don't have a problem with her. I think that, she's putting in the work. You don't have to agree with her opinions as long as she's reporting it. Take it for what it's worth. Everybody has a level of bias, believe it or not, including confirmation bias. Okay, let's get into it. So November 17th, she says, hello from the Miami Federal Courthouse, where trial is to begin in Meg Thee Stallion defamation lawsuit against online commentator Milagro Gramz.
I'm here at the federal courthouse in Miami where Megan Thee Stallion is going to go on trial in her defamation lawsuit against Milagro Cooper. Megan and Milagro are both going to be here this morning and they're going to do jury selection. They might even get to opening statements this afternoon. This is a trial about whether Milagro is defaming Megan when she says that Megan lied in her trial about Tory Lanez shooting her. Now, the jury is going to be told that Tory Lanez refused to answer questions about how he met Milagro during a deposition from prison that's related to this case. The judge last night held him in contempt along with his lawyer, ordered him to pay $20,000.
If you want to order him to pay $20,000, that's fine. But why would you tell the jury in the defamation case? Like, I know it stems from Tory Lanez, but it just doesn't make sense to me. I feel like Milagro can't force this grown-ass man to speak to this, and you wouldn't want her to. It's crazy. Fine him. That's fine. But why does her jury in her trial need to be informed? It doesn't make sense.
Lanez refused to answer how he first met Milagro, whether he's ever communicated with Milagro, and whether he sent Milagro Instagram direct messages or text messages. Now, this is the second adverse inference instruction against Milagro. There is another one saying that she intentionally deleted text messages and that jurors can view it the wrong way.
That was the other thing too. Probably not something that we mentioned, but there was a situation where Milagro, when you're in a defamation case, when you're in a court case, you don't want to be deleting anything. Okay. Just note that, preserve everything, no matter how it makes you look, because it makes you, in my opinion, look worse if you're deleting messages. I've seen this happen so many times, especially on YouTube when there's lawsuits against YouTubers or, YouTubers are going at it. People, when you start deleting messages, whether the message was good or bad, you look worse when you delete a message. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I'm John O'Sullivan. How are you? I know who you are. I've seen your stuff.
Thank you. Good to meet you. Good to meet you. Anything to say before you go in? All right. I'm heading into the courthouse. I've got an article up on legalaffairsandtrials.com that really lays out the land for this trial, and I'm going to be giving you guys more updates as the day goes on and the week goes by. Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to exit out of that. And then that was one of the first videos that she did, Megan Cuniff. She says they have courthouse chickens here instead of courthouse cats. I heard that there's a lot of chickens everywhere over there, y'all. Is it true? Are the chickens everywhere? Are these wild chickens? That's crazy. Now that looks like I think it's a rooster. I don't think it's a chicken, but courthouse rooster. I would probably be tempted to pet it and then get in trouble. Here we go. So the pool of prospective jurors is expected soon. Megan is at plaintiff's table and Milagro arrived a few minutes ago with her lawyers. They were both sitting at the table when I stepped out to update you. Milagro walked out with one of her lawyers as I was typing this. This is the Wilkie T. Ferguson Jr. U.S. Courthouse in Miami. It's probably the coolest courthouse building I've ever seen. She's just giving us some thoughts about the building. Then she says, one issue is whether damages are assumed if Megan establishes defamation or if she needs to prove actual financial loss. Much of Milagro's filing is about how Megan needs to establish actual malice. But I think her lawyers know that. Their case alleges Milagro is working with Tory Lanez. She cuts this off and says it's not clear how much money damages Megan is seeking. But her lawyers recently filed a brief arguing that the defamation claim does not require proving actual financial loss. Federal and state courts applying Florida law have repeatedly allowed public figures to proceed on claims of defamation per se without requiring proof of economic harm. I've heard this too, according to the filing. Florida precedent makes clear that once a public figure demonstrates actual malice, the traditional presumption of damage is in per se. Defamation remains intact. Milagro's lawyers cited a 1985 Florida Supreme Court case. They said rejected the common law rule that presumed damages flows automatically from defamatory statements categorized as defamatory per se. Florida no longer recognizes presumed damages in defamation per se claims against media defendants unless the defendant first proves actual malice, according to the brief. And even where actual malice is shown, Florida courts require competent evidence of resulting injury damages are not presumed by virtue of the per se label. Okay. But Megan's lawyers say Milagro isn't a media defendant because nothing has changed since the judge Altanagas, I think that's the name, Judge Altanaga, ordered that she's not media and thus didn't need to be notified of a possible civil action. The trial is not the first of its kind, says Megan Cuniff. Cardi B pursued a similar defamation lawsuit against Tasha K and won at a trial federal court in Atlanta in 2022. You guys remember that whole lawsuit? We also talked about it here. Minaj also settled similar lawsuit against blogger who goes by Nosy Ho. That was another one. So kind of making some comparisons. The lawsuit is reminiscent of rapper Cardi B's federal defamation lawsuit against online commentator Tasha K, which went to trial in the Northern District of Georgia in 2022 and resulted in the jury ordering Tasha to pay Cardi B $4 million for the defamation. So, and then you have Nicki Minaj situation again, where Nicki Minaj settled a federal defamation lawsuit in 2024 against online commentator Marley Nosy Ho Green. Green apologized and admitted her statements about Minaj using and or abusing the C word were false. She also agreed to never say anything about Minaj being engaged in conduct which reflects poorly on Minaj's integrity. According to the settlement agreement, referring to Minaj's legal name, Onika Mirage, and she can't quote anyone else who does or mention directly or indirectly Mirage's husband or child in public. If she does, she has to pay Minaj $50,000 for each violation. I mean, does kind of make you wonder who honors the orders at the end of the day. So at this point, Megan Cuniff is in the court. It sounds like the judge asked the pool of about 60 people if they've heard of Megan Milagro or Tory Lanez. And she mispronounced Lanez just like I did when I first saw it. It's saying it Lanez instead of lanes, like traffic lanes. No one corrected her. Okay. Then Megan says, I counted 15 to 16 hands for Megan. So they're asking the jury, do you know Meg the Stallion? And it sounds like out of the pool of 60, at least 15 and 16 hands of people knew who Meg the Stallion is. That's an interesting number. Two that said they actually had an opinion about her. We haven't heard what the opinion is. No one has heard of Milagro. That's interesting. I counted 6 hands for Lanez. So you had 15, 16 people that knew who Meg the Stallion was. They asked a jury of 60 people, do you know who Milagro Gramz is? Milagro Cooper? Nobody raised their hand. And then they were asked about Tory Lanez, and only 6 people raised their hands. Megan Cuniff says, I stepped outside to tweet because I can't transmit from the courtroom. I'm going back in. Judge told the prospective jurors trials should end by next Wednesday. But if not, they'll come back the Monday after Thanksgiving. So, oh, damn. So if they don't come back with the verdict, you're talking about the Monday after Thanksgiving. Let me look at the calendar, y'all. That would be December 1st. So if they don't have a verdict, they'll be back the Monday after Thanksgiving. Milagro's lawyers asked prospective jurors about sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never harm me. And everyone she's talked to is emphasizing the, oh yeah, words can hurt a lot. Okay. One woman who said she was bullied in middle school went off about the difference between freedom of speech and bullying. A male teacher said, I've seen kids get destroyed physically and emotionally just because of verbal bullying. Oh, this is going to be an interesting jury. It's been selected already, but just reading to you guys what happened. Milagro's lawyers tried to strike for cause. Okay. The woman who was bullied in middle school and said she attempted S, but the judge said she believes the woman when she says she can be fair and impartial. Okay. They're back in 10 minutes for the final selection. Each side has 3 preemptory challenges. So Milagro's lawyers can use one to get rid of the woman who was bullied in middle school. Yeah, they're definitely, if I'm Milagro's lawyers, I'm going to probably want to get rid of the person who said that she was bullied in middle school. And maybe even the teacher who said that, the bullying can cause some type of a harm, right? Because, if I am Milagro's lawyers, I would be kind of concerned about their opinion once they see, if they may be swayed one way or another, if they may be so emotionally attached that they can't separate maybe facts from evidence. So these are things that we have to pay attention to. There are 3 attorneys with Milagro: Jeremy McLinement, Natasha Bienami, and Elisa Pertet. I think that's how you say her last name. Missing is Rhonda Dixon of LA, who tried to join Tory Lanez's defense team in 2023. She was involved in pretrial, but Milagro's other lawyers told the judge she won't be here for trial. Megan Cuniff further says people who had opinions about Megan Lanez and the trial were stricken for cause. The Ambers said what the opinions were. Just having them is enough for a cause strike. Okay. So the jury has been seated for the Meg Thee Stallion defamation trial against Milagro Gramz. 5 men and 4 women, including a black man and a black woman. The black man is a teacher who describes himself as a disciplinarian. Further goes, the judge briefly summarizes the case. Megan accuses Milagro of falsely accusing her committing the crime of perjury, of promoting a fake indecent material video of her, and of engaging in extreme and outrageous conduct by coordinating with Daystar Peterson, the man convicted of shooting Miss Pete. So it looks like they gave a summary and then they kind of start with maybe opening statements at this point. And the judge continues. The judge said Milagro denies all allegations in any coordination with Peterson. She's a social media personality who reports on many topics in the hip hop community. She acknowledges questioning Pete's credibility, and she maintains that any public criticism stems from Ms. Pete's own actions and statements, not from Ms. Cooper's conduct. Milagro's lawyers, Jeremy McLinement, mentioned one possible defense witness as Livingston Allen, who we all know is DJ Academics. Jurors already will be seeing excerpts from his video deposition. Further says, side note, downtown Miami seems to have a real edge on downtown Los Angeles in terms of just everything. Just about everything, including food. All right, so we start with opening statements. We're about 45 minutes, she said. In the opening statements, it looks like Megan's lawyers played audio of the gunfire from from Tory Lanez shooting her, then said Milagro saw the shots as her shots at the spotlight. Milagro's lawyers said she called Megan a liar because Megan lied. Milagro is the first witness. Megan's lawyer, John O'Sullivan, is questioning her. He played the audio of the gunshots and is asking her about what she heard. The jury saw Tory Lanez's entire Cap music video and Milagro's tweet, Daystar, is that a horse's leg? Okay, so the Megan Cuniff is letting us know that at this point, the jury saw all of Tory Lanez's Cap video, and then there was a tweet that they showed on that basically there was a tweet from Milagro that basically said, Daystar, is that a horse's leg? Making possible reference to Megan. John O'Sullivan asked about Tory Lanez being found in violation of his bail for witness intimidation because of the Cap video. Milagro says she doesn't remember. I could not say at this time. Milagro's defense to the claim that she shared a digitally altered indecent material depiction of Megan is that she thought the totally obscene video, which Megan's lawyers played in full in her opening statement, was real. So they played the deep fake, which Megan's lawyer played in full in her opening statements. Milagro said that she thought that the video was totally obscene. So Milagro thought that the video was real, because that's how Megan Cuniff is ending it here. So Milagro's defense to the claim that she shared a digitally altered sexual depiction of Megan is that she thought the totally obscene video, which Megan's lawyers played in full in her opening statement, was real. So I actually thought that the video was real. Okay. Court ended about 10 minutes ago. We'll return to the stand tomorrow for more direct examination from Megan's lawyer, John O'Sullivan. Then Megan will testify. Milagro testified today she hasn't read the appellate decision affirming Lanez's conviction. Okay. I'm putting together, and this is what Megan Cuniff says, I'm putting together an article, an opening statement, in the first part of Milagro's testimony. So she's asking people to subscribe.
Milagro was the first witness, and she is going to be back on the witness stand tomorrow to keep testifying. We haven't gotten to cross-examination yet, but it's actually Megan's lawyer who's questioning Milagro right now. Now, Milagro's defense to the claim that she purposely promoted a fake video of Megan in a sexually explicit manner was that she thought the video was real. Jurors actually saw the video during Megan's lawyer's opening statement, and Megan's lawyer apologized for having to show it, but said that the jurors needed to see it because they need to see what Milagro was promoting. So I thought claiming that they thought the video was real was a pretty good defense to the claim of promoting an altered depiction, because how could they know that Milagro actually thought it was fake? The problem is Milagro repeatedly speculated about whether the video was fake in her live stream when she was showing it. She even
I think if I remember correctly, Milagro said something to the effect of, if this is her, she should sue, meaning that she doesn't know if it's her, right? If it's her, she should sue. That's what she said. So that's an interesting technique of a defense. Okay, hold up.
The problem is Milagro repeatedly speculated about whether the video was fake in her live stream when she was showing it. She even says, oh, this has to be AI. So her defense that she thought it was real is kind of negated by that. So they are back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Milagro will have more testimony. We'll get into cross from her lawyer, and then Megan is expected to testify. I am going to write an article for legalaffairsandtrials.com. Check it out.
Okay. So let's see, Megan leaving the court. So this is just some of the footage from yesterday. That's Megan the Stallion leaving for court.
Thanks for being so kind with the photographers today.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
All right, good luck.
Okay, Megan Cuniff, you really need to put a watermark like right here That's not a watermark. It's very easy to crop your name out. Just letting you know, Megan Cuniff, put a watermark on it. Okay, now here, Milagro leaving court. Okay. Okay, that's Milagro right there. All right. Milagro chatted with TMZ reporter on her way out. The goodbye Miss Cuniff she gave at the end is like a microcosm of the trial. Is Milagro genuine, or is she completely and obviously disingenuous?
Shoes.
Talk about that.
Where are the shoes from?
Dr. May said I'm a she-eating hoe, but these from Fashion Nova. Cold, Fashion Nova, these cold.
How do you like Miami? How do you feel they're treating you at the truck?
Can't talk about that now. But Miami is a thank you. Miami.
It's not bad.
It's not bad at all. I love Miami.
I do like shoes.
Thank you. I'll see you tomorrow.
Oh my gosh. Oh man.
That's my shoes.
Okay, so I'm laughing because people always get dragged for the things that they wear online, for the outfits that they wear. Megan Cuniff then says the first thing Milagro's lawyer, Natasha Bienanime, told jurors in her opening was, yes, Megan Pete was shot. But she said whether he did or not, that case, that tragedy, that happened in California. It's an interesting statement. Megan was shot. But if he did or if he didn't do it, that's the tragedy. And all of that happened in Cali. That's an interesting way to, open the state, because they're not, it's almost like Milagro's lawyers are leaving it for speculation. Still. That's not Milagro saying it. That's Milagro's lawyer's opening statement. Let's get into this article from Megan Cuniff. And this was from yesterday. So streamer being sued by Megan Thee Stallion testifies as first witness in defamation trial. Milagro Cooper will continue testifying on Tuesday at the federal courthouse in Miami. Megan also is expected to testify. So that would be today. This was, of course, from yesterday. Online commentator testified Monday that she intentionally directed her followers to a digital altered and sexually type of video of rapper Meg Thee Stallion because the video was public and her followers were asking about it. Unfortunately, S-tapes are something of the public interest. It came up and I spoke about it. This is what Milagro Gramz said on the stand. Milagro testified as the first witness in a federal trial that accuses her coordinating with rapper Daystar Tory Lanez Peterson, who is in prison for shooting Meg in 2020. Cooper's lawyer said in her opening statement that Milagro, an online influencer known as Milagro Gramz, didn't publicize or share the video on her social media, which is key to Megan's claim that Milagro knowingly shared a digitally altered depiction of Megan. There are two other claims. They are defamation and intentional infliction of emotional distress. There's a typo there. Jurors later heard audio clips of Milagro telling her followers that she liked the video and posted, "Go to my likes." They all heard her question whether the video is real. This has got to be AI, artificial intelligence, Milagro said. The jury of 5 men and 4 women saw the obscene video during Megan's lawyer, Marie, can't say her last name, 20-minute opening statement. Before she played it, Marie, the lawyer, said she wanted to acknowledge how disturbing this is. Imagine having to sit in court and watch this play for a full room of strangers. That's what we're asking Megan to do today. But you need to see it to understand what Milagro Gramz, promoted. Marie, an associate in Quinn Emanuel Sullivan LLP, Los Angeles office. Remember, Quinn Emanuel, Alex Spiro, these are all kind of in the same bucket, okay? The approximately 45-second video included commentary from Milagro as she played it for her viewers on her live stream. Watch how this post jump. I just like it. I just liked it and I tweeted, go to my likes. I apologize to everyone in this courtroom for having to see that, especially to Megan. This is what Marie, Megan's lawyer, said. But Milagro Cooper made the choice to promote it. The lawyer, Marie, Meg the Stallion's lawyer, began her opening statement by playing the audio of the gunshot that Daystar Tory Lanez Peterson fired at Megan on July 12, 2020. She told jurors she was convicted in December of 2022 and that the California Court of Appeals affirmed his conviction last week. She played an excerpt of Milagros discussing Megan, that beginning. At the end of the day, a bitch lying on somebody is low down. She believed what the F you want to believe. So believe what the F you want to believe. Milagro goes on to say that she wants to slap Megan. This case is about, now this is the quote from the opening statement, I believe. This case is about someone who wasn't there that night. The defendant, Milagro Gramz. She didn't see the fear or the blood or the gun, but she saw something else. Her shot had the spotlight. There's that reference. Marie said, this case is about what Milagro Gramz did with her shot at the spotlight. Marie said, jurors will learn. Marie, the lawyer, said jurors will learn how she turned attacking Megan into her brand, how she coordinated with Tory Lanez and his team, how she built her platform by tearing Megan down. She said the case is not about whether Tory shot Megan. That has already been decided. He did. This case is about Milagro Gramz's continued effort to undo what's already been done, to free Tory. The first thing Milagro lawyer Natasha told jurors in the opening was, yes, Megan Pete was shot. But she said, whether he did or not, that case, that tragedy, that happened in California. The plaintiff desperately wants to drive a California criminal trial across the country to replay it for you here in Miami, Florida. This is what Natasha, the lawyer, said. Natasha, the lawyer for Milagro Gramz. They want to talk about this criminal trial because there's emotion. It creates a distraction because they cannot prove this conspiracy that they're trying to pin on my client, she said. Despite how vulgar it is, despite how colorful it is, despite how much profanity she uses, that's not a conspiracy. And that's what they're trying to prove, she continues. Natasha said jurors are going to see something happening deliberately throughout this trial. They're going to try to distract you. They're going to try to elicit sympathy. They're going to talk about trauma. They're going to talk about her emotions. The lawyer Natasha said Megan is allowed to feel anything that she feels. We're not saying that she's not allowed to feel. This courtroom is not saying she's not allowed to feel, but tears are not proof. Natasha, the lawyer, emphasizes that Milagro didn't publish the altered video of Megan and that she didn't know about it until her followers alerted her to it. She said Milagro's job is literally to comment on things that her audience and reviewers want her to comment on. Frankly, she's still quoting her. She's not an AI specialist. The law does not require her to know what an altered video looks like, Natasha said. Miss Cooper, Milagro Gramz, is no different than any of the millions of Americans online on a daily basis that are speaking their opinion, speaking about what they see, talking about what's being reported. Natasha said, some of your favorite comedians would be sitting right here next to Miss Cooper, Milagro, if they were being held to the same standard that she's being held to by the plaintiff. Natasha said Milagro is a mother, married for 13 years to her high school sweetheart. She's a believer. In college, she got straight A's. She was majoring in criminal justice. She even got training in victim advocacy. This is what Natasha says. It's not like she hates this woman. And she's been all day, all night online just cyberbullying her. Natasha said, that's not the case. Milagro Gramz, the real woman, has built a legitimate business. This case is about commentary, not this conspiracy that they're trying to convince you of and trying to make you believe. Miss Cooper, Milagro Gramz criticisms are protected. This is retaliation. Whew. Okay. Then Megan's lawyer, John O'Sullivan, a partner in Quinn Emanuel, Miami's office, asked about hearing the gunfire during Lane's trial. Did you have an open mind on what happened that night? O'Sullivan said. Absolutely. I had an open mind, Milagro answered. Okay, you thought Tory would be guilty? O'Sullivan asked. He could have been guilty based on the evidence that could have been presented when you go to trial, Milagro answered. You had already made up your mind that Tory was innocent? O'Sullivan asked. I had an idea of what I figured could happen, which would be speculation, but once again, it was imperative that I went to trial. I went to the trial, Milagro answered. O'Sullivan questioned Milagro about an Instagram post that was evidence in Lane's trial, in which Lane's account replied, that's not true, to someone who says people saying Kelsey shot her. And as he tried to show a connection between her and Lane's, he asked her about her promotion of his music video Cap, in which he's in a butcher shop chopping a horse leg with the HGS written on special menu behind him. Megan refers to her and her phrase, Hot Girl Summer. So that's what the HGS stands for, Hot Girl Summer. O'Sullivan seemed to be implying through his questioning of Milagro on Monday that she highlighted the horse's leg to promote the video in coordination with Lane's. But Milagro testified that she was merely advancing a question debated by her followers. He was in a butcher shop. Who eats horses? So actually, I don't believe it actually was a horse's leg, Milagro testified. A lot of people were speculating, she continued. When I was doing commentary, it's not about what I want to talk about, because otherwise I'd sit up there and talk to myself. I have to make sure that I'm on the pulse with my audience wants to talk about. Milagro spoke so fast that the court reporter typing a transcript of the proceedings stopped her several times, and the judge warned her, this is not a video clip. This is not a podcast. Please slow down. She asked you several times. So the judge, maybe that's, now it makes sense. Now it makes sense. So some of us that are trying to get the transcripts, this would be the poor girl, the court reporter is probably having to stop because she's talking a lot, but then the judge is telling Milagro to slow down and whatnot. This is crazy. O'Sullivan displayed texts between Milagro and Lane's father, Sunstar Peterson, from February 2022 about Milagro traveling to Miami. Milagro says she was interviewing Peterson, and O'Sullivan asked if it's common for an interview subject to be paid by the person she's interviewing. Milagro said it was, and said their arrangement was very custom. Milagro also testified that she hasn't read the California Court of Appeals 46-page affirming Lane's conviction, which was issued last week. Yeah, I guess he's going to have to be sitting there for a couple of years. I'm in a federal trial, and that's where my attention is, Milagro said. She also said the ruling is of less interest because she's under a gag order in the case that prohibits her from speaking publicly about related issues such as Lane's conviction. O'Sullivan referenced one of his team's most valuable pretrial orders when he asked Milagro about missing text messages a forensic technician analyzed before trial. So here's my question. Let me stop right here. If they were able to get a forensic technician, how come they weren't able to get a forensic person to figure out who started the AI video? Because they don't even know. They're saying that they haven't figured out who it is, but you can get a forensic tech for this. You can't get a forensic tech to determine where this AI video was created. It just seems to me that it would be easier, in my opinion, to determine where an AI video came from, given that there's only so many AI programs out there, right? I don't know. Maybe I'm just minimizing that. Maybe I'm just not thinking about this fully, but that's just my thought. Jurors will be instructed at the end of the trial that Milagro deleted text and that the WhatsApp messaging service in violation of a legal notice. Jurors also will be told that they should assume and infer Milagro intended to deprive Megan of the evidence in the deleted messages, that at least some of the deleted messages related to the claims in this case were about plaintiff, and that these deleted messages were unfavorable to defendant. This was something that did happen. Milagro was confronted about this situation as well. So that is, I guess, a consequence of her deleted messages. The jury's going to be told about that. The U.S. Magistrate Judge Lisette Reed also ruled on Sunday that Lanez should be sanctioned $20,000 and his lawyer Crystal Morgan $5,000 for their disruptive conduct during his November 14th deposition. Hell, they even went after the lawyer. Reed's ruling recommends jurors be told that Lanez refused to answer 3 questions. 1, how he first came to know defendant Cooper. And 2, whether Mr. Peterson communicated with defendant Cooper. And 3, whether he sent Ms. Cooper's Instagram direct messages or text messages. Jurors have not yet heard about the specific questions Lanez dodged in his deposition, but they heard a lot about Milagro's deleted texts during her trial on Monday. The judge overruled several ask and answer objections from Milagro's lawyer, Jeremy McKinnon. Sullivan questioned Milagro about the deletions that a forensic analyst identifies. He mentioned the multiple hour pre-trial hearing and asked Milagro if she was denying she deleted text with Peterson. Is there anything you take accountability for in that? O'Sullivan asked. Milagro testified that she believes she saved what y'all asked for and said she was not advised properly. It was not my goal or aim to try to deceive you guys, she testified. Milagro testified, I do feel that Megan got hurt, but the truth of what happened is indecipherable. And the case started to look like it doesn't matter what you present. Jurors also saw a text Milagro sent Lanez early on before his trial and said, I don't know how your energy is, but everything been so crazy that I can only imagine. I don't know how you're going your life tonight, but if you gave me that or any exclusive, it changed my life. I've been dying to know why you asked for my number. Regardless of whatever you do and how you do it, you're not a throwaway. No judgment holds weight to that of the Most High. I wish you the best. That was a message between her and Tory Lanez that was read to the jury, or at least shown to the jury. Basically saying, I don't know how your energy is, but everything's been so crazy and I can only imagine. I don't know how you're going your life tonight, but you gave me that or any exclusive. It changed my life. I've been dying to know why you asked for my number. Regardless of whatever you do and how you do it, you're not a throwaway. No judgments hold weight to that of the Most High. I wish you the best. That was their communication. How do you guys feel about that message? Let me know. Milagro testified she hoped Lanez would grant her one exclusive interview, but she maintained that he didn't influence her coverage of his case or Megan. The 9 jurors were seated in about 2.5 hours Monday morning. She says, I'll have more about them as the trial progresses. You can read my Twitter X threads here so there's a link there. Jurors were told the trial will go next Wednesday, and they may need to return the Monday after Thanksgiving, which I think would be December 1st. Okay. She's showing us some pictures. One final note. I was recognized at the Miami airport on Sunday. That's so cool. Yay. From Grandma Sophie Cookies. Okay. So this is Megan Cuniff's blog. She also has a YouTube channel. Guys, go check her out. That's where I got the detailed notes. I am still waiting on the court reporter, but it sounds like based on reading that note, it sounds like the court reporter was really struggling. So I do wonder what the first day transcript looks like. Guys, just a really quick little rundown about what happened on Monday and everything, including videos. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do me a favor, guys. Please support the channel. Hit the like. Sometimes supports just looks like hitting the like. I would really appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm and helps get our channel out there. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you guys have a great day. I'll see you guys later. Bye, guys.